And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back to another very bonus episode of the Constitutionals Podcast. Whatever tagline I said for the show, I'm not going to repeat it because I cannot remember what I just said. Here we are talking to another person, another human being, a comedic person. This one's Paige Gallagher. I don't know why I was hiding it, who it is, because the conversation's already happened. I'm a little bit distracted. I have my headphones on. I didn't want to put them on to record this, and I said, I have to hear myself. I have to hear the theme song. Be professional. And I'm wearing them in such a way that I am very concerned that the sound bled out through the mic. Then I'll take full responsibility. I'll be the one to say I did that wrong. Paige Gallagher, she is a stand-up / social media person. Boy, oh boy. I was going to say icon. I was going to say magnate. Neither of those felt right. Paige Gallagher, you can find her on TikTok and Instagram, posting very funny videos. And listen, you have to understand, this is a huge compliment coming from me, the guy who hates TikTok. The one guy. The one person in this world who hates TikTok. She posts a lot of great, funny, short bits that this is not an insult. And you better believe when I said this next part in the interview that I thought about it for the next 4 days going, God, I hope she didn't take it as an insult. That she takes these simple ideas and she just makes a 30-second to a minute-long video with it. And here's what I mean. Here's an idea. I'm looking at her TikTok right now. The friend with the worst taste in men. Boom. Easy. Done. The friend who says tonight's a movie. Boom. Easy. Done. I don't know what that means. But it's a funny idea. The friend who just got a tooth gem. Now, besides TikTok, she also does stand-up. And it's great, funny stand-up. She lives over there in California. She's also done some acting, which I don't think I asked her about. That's all right. Probably should have done that. Well, we'll have a second chance at some point. Oh boy. She did theater work. She's done improv. She's done sketch stuff. She's studied everything, and she's done everything. Now she's working hard, trying to get these hours in for this for her first comedy special, which I'm sure I'll talk to her about at some point in the future. But now she's currently promoting something called Pillow Talk. It is a chat show where she sits down with people in the social media space that are similar to her, and they just talk. It's a lot, and I mentioned this in the interview. It's a lot. I'm just gonna talk about things that I mentioned in the interview. It's a lot like the In Bed with Joan, if you remember that show from the great Joan Rivers. Rest in peace. So there's that. Paige Gallagher. She's a funny person. I think you should check her out. And look, again, I give great suggestions. You can watch Pillow Talk on Paige's YouTube channel. And I'll find that channel for you right now. Paige Gallagher. Simple enough. She's verified. There you go. Not even C+ Comedy's verified. And I've talked to so many great people, including Paige Gallagher. You can follow her on TikTok, P Galley. You can find her on Instagram, Paige A. Gallagher. right? Am I correct? Yes. And I believe that's all the social she has. I mean, you could look her up on Facebook if you want. I don't know why you would. It's an insane thing to do. And who has Twitter anymore? If you want to see a video version of this interview, you can go to youtube.com/C+Comedy. And while you're there, again, subscribe to Paige Gallagher, but also subscribe to C++ Comedy, where you can see me talk to other famous people. You can, what is it? I have other podcasts too with video versions, audio versions. There's LinkedIn Logs, which is the job podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show where I talk about late night stuff. And we have social media. C+ Comedy, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, currently known as X. All right. Well, I guess I've wasted enough of your time. 6 minutes. Jesus. Okay. Let's get into this interview. Enjoy. I got to find the right thing. Oh, I actually have to activate that part. And now I have to do the thing. Okay, bye. Oh, God, it didn't work. Here we go.
Hi.
There she is. There's the popular girl.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. You have enough water in that canteen you have?
Yeah,
You gotta go
yeah.
camping later.
It was literally I could.
Well, Paige, thank you for sitting down with me. I very much appreciate it. I saw
Yes.
your TikToks, and we're the same age. I'm not well versed in TikTok, so I felt that it was my duty, necessary to sit down and talk with you.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how much I know. That's I feel like there's so much I don't know, but let's get into it.
Well, I mean, you're doing these things all the time. I mean, it doesn't seem like you're posting at like just crap all the time. You're posting substantive, videos when you can and when you get the chance. Why did you choose TikTok as that platform? I guess because it blew up in 3 or 4 years ago, and that was just like the good thing to jump onto.
Yeah, definitely. It was during the pandemic, and
Mhm.
I was, performing a lot live before the pandemic,
Right.
and was just sort of craving the like performance aspect, and didn't really have the opportunity, like everything shut down. And it was just sort of a way at first to work through writer's block. I was in a sketch team and having a really hard time coming up with anything because just the lack of inspiration, because due to the lack of, interactions and just like life in general, in 2020. So that's sort of how it started. Yeah.
Where were you performing? Were you doing improv and stand up, or did you have one focus?
It was mostly just sketch comedy. I was performing a little bit with improv as well, actually, at that time. So just like comedy clubs around LA, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
where have been some places that you've enjoyed?
West Side Comedy in Santa Monica, is probably my favorite place I've ever performed at. I also used to intern there, in exchange for improv classes. So I got to know a lot of the staff there, and just everybody. I've never come across, or I haven't come across a community like that in a
Mhm.
comedy club in LA. Like everybody's just so supportive, so nice, genuine. Whereas I feel like other places it's easy to feel like it's a competition.
Right.
So yeah, there it's very supportive, and like the family vibes. It's really warm. So,
Yeah.
and the club itself is just like a really fun stage to perform on.
That family community and aspect, is that a reason why you feel a lot at home with sketch? Is that why sketch is a good place for you to be?
Yeah, definitely. I love sketch. I've, been studying it and writing and performing it for a few years. Probably my favorite because the group mind that you get when you are working with this group of people
Mhm.
for so intimately and for so long, it's really fun, and it makes even bombing on stage like fun kind of,
Yeah.
whereas stand up, if you're bombing, you're by yourself, it's just easier to feel like isolated. when you're bombing by yourself. So it's fun to perform and, you know, sometimes do badly with like your friends, and you come off stage and you laugh and giggle about it. And then you get to, you know, like take it in as information and hopefully grow from that. But yeah, it's definitely the family aspect of sketch, and the group mind of it is something I really, really love.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that group aspect too. I work at CNN right now, and I'm in a control room with a bunch of people who, quite frankly, they come in every day and they go, "This is going to be the shittiest day, and it's going to be such a bad show." And I'm in there, I'm like, "Hey, man, regular people are going to be watching this across the world. We're going to have a
Mm-hmm.
great day, even if it's a bad show. I don't
Yeah.
really care." And they like, I love, like, it's a serious job, whatever, but I love not taking it seriously because,
Yeah.
you know, we have, you and I and Shaq and other people in this industry, we have the greatest jobs in the world, and
Yeah.
we a lot of people take it way too seriously, and we should be thankful and that we can just make these silly jokes on your case and me tell the news.
Yeah.
and and like, if I could, if I made a joke, that'd be bad. But like, it's so great to, after the fact, just kind of, you know, laugh about the, like, failing on stage. And you're
Hmm.
right, being a stand-up and failing is a lot different and a lot harder than being with a group of people and failing, because then after the fact, you know, I imagine SNL, if there's a bad episode, they all, it's 1 a.m., they go to the cast party and they're like, "Hey, that sucked, but you know what? We hung out with I don't know, Miley Cyrus today, and who else is famous? Dolly
Who else
Parton
is
was there."
famous?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot different, and it's a lot more fun. And yeah, you can't take this stuff too seriously, because I mean, at least for me, like for my mental health, like I can't do it. It'll get too
Mhm.
dark.
Yeah.
So you know, approaching things with, like, hopefully, like being taking it seriously, but not too much. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
being
yeah.
able to laugh about something is really important, I think.
What's the so you mentioned you had writer's block, and that's why you swerved into TikTok. What does your writing process look like? What, how do you be it for a sketch or be it for stand up, because you also do that, but and then also for TikTok things, how do you approach taking on each one of those pillars of your comedy?
Um, a lot of it is observational. I feel like I get a lot of inspiration just from my day-to-day life and observing things or interactions at a coffee shop or, you know, the grocery store, and go from there. It kind of, I feel like my writing process is kind of all over the place. I don't know if I have ever approached something the same. You know what I mean? I'll have like an idea for a punchline, and then I'll work backwards from there. Or I have an idea of a character, and then I dive into what would this character say? How would they handle this situation? And a lot of it is improvising. I use improv a lot when
Mhm.
writing. It just helps, especially with character work, being able to improvise. That's why I also love having like that group of other comedians and, you know, performers, because being able to improvise with somebody, just, it's so helpful with you know, exploring like a new character or a new joke. So yeah.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
definitely we have similar ways of tackling things.
Hmm.
Um for me, I write down a lot just in case, you know, speaking of SNL, I mentioned them previously, just in
Hmm.
case they want to hire somebody randomly but who's doesn't do comedy. um, and they're like, you know what, he might have some sketch ideas. I'm sorry, my dog is barking.
No,
I
it's,
have
don't ever apologize.
just a slew of sketches at the ready to go. And I like that. I like that yours, but also yours are so very and that this is not an insult, but they're very simple. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
this is an observational thing where this girl is popular, or this one is just wants to show off their boots. You know,
Hmm.
it's fun, it's funny, it's a part of, I don't go on TikTok, but it's a part of TikTok that I think is missing a lot on that platform.
Hmm.
I like things that are silly, you know?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
very silly and very engaging for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. I think that's like been the really fun part about social media and doing comedy in on social media. It's um the attention span of everybody is like definitely shorter than, it keeps getting shorter. So being able to make those simple jokes within like 30 to 60 seconds, it's really fun. And I feel like it does help with the the longevity of being able to consistently post, because
Mhm.
that can get really tough if you're, diving into these insane or like really in-depth jokes and stuff. I don't know. The simplicity of it makes it really fun and quick and digestible, I think. So
Yeah.
that's been a really fun part of it too. Yeah.
I've always wanted to know, what is it like asking a friend or a roommate to help you shoot something? Because when you're on TikTok, when you're somebody who you can set up a camera, you can put it over here, and you can do your thing.
Mhm.
Versus, hey, can you get behind the camera and do some zooms and play off of me? Like, how does that work for you? Is that like, do you just have a bunch of videos that just didn't work because your friend Stacy was not funny enough?
Yeah, and yeah, that happens a lot. So, I mean, not to be, sorry, but my sister, she, when I ask her to film my stuff, she's not a performer at all. I mean, well, she's
Mhm.
a musician, so it's a very different, and it's probably partly my fault because I'm not being clear enough about my vision of the joke or like the video, and I'm just like, this is sorry, it's and editing it, I'm like, it's not gonna work.
Mhm.
But I got really lucky. I met these two girls, Caroline and Vienna, and we film a lot together, and they're both on social media, and
Okay.
so we help each other. We get together like once or twice a week, and we help each other film videos. So that is really nice because it doesn't feel like I'm like, excuse me, can you, yeah, can you please like film this for me? And it's, we're all helping each other out, and it's really fun. Um, However, when I don't have them around, it can get tough and awkward, and then I get nervous, and I'm just like, never mind. I'll do something else. So it's weird. Yeah, it can be awkward for sure.
That's the life of a person in comedy where they'll do the wildest thing if a camera's on, but if it's off, it's like, I don't know if I should.
I know.
I don't know, guys. Maybe.
Maybe I don't know. Um, you were saying earlier that you have just like a bunch of like sketch ideas.
Mhm.
Do you have like notes like in your notes app, just like
Oh my
lists?
god.
Okay.
I have to show you this.
Yeah,
This
let
is
me see.
it's so stupid. So I started this in 2016 apparently, but there's just a crap ton, everything from 2016 up until this is the most recent one. So
Wow.
it's literally just if I get an idea, I'll just write it down, and you see how
Yeah.
long they are. I'll just
No,
write
of
it down.
course.
Like this one, here's one. Doc McStuffins gets sued for malpractice, which I think is a funny idea. You
That's
know,
hilarious. I love
uh,
that. Like one of my favorite things is in the middle of the night, I'm sure you do this. Like you wake up with an idea and you just like
mm,
type it in your phone really fast and you fall back asleep.
yeah,
And the next morning you go back and you're like, what? Like what
yeah,
was that? And in the moment you're like, this is genius. But yeah, I have so many where it's just like typos and I'm just like, I have
yeah,
no idea what I was talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's so funny. I love that.
There was a period in time, so that I did that once with my phone.
Mm.
Like maybe like after like 4 or 5 times I did that with my phone. But one of them I wrote down, if Vin Diesel was a scientist, and I remember waking up laughing and thinking that was like he's just he's just like tiny glasses on, and he goes like, we have to put in the beaker and we have to put in the it just
Oh
and I
God,
thought that was the
genius.
funniest thing in the world at
Yeah.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But then I said, I don't want to look at my phone in the middle of the night. I'll start writing things down. And I can't remember the sketch for the life of me, but I had a post-it note and a pen next to my bed.
Mm.
And I woke up and I wrote it down, and all it was just scribbles. It was like
Yeah.
Donald Trump's signature. It was the worst thing. So I've
Just
since
yeah.
moved back to my phone, and now if something comes up in the middle of the night, I'll just write it down immediately.
Yeah, I was gonna say I that's impressive that you were able to like write in the middle of the night because I would have done the same thing. There's no way. I
Yeah.
can't even type on my phone legibly, in the middle of the night. So it's like, yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, I still I love doing it, and that's why I
Yeah,
have 7 years worth of material
it's a
lined up.
lot. It's
I
impressive.
also it's a lot of it is the more recent stuff, the more recent years rather, like 2021 onward, I'd say are funnier versus anything, 2016 to 2020, because we there's more forms of comedy out there, and
Mm,
and we're able to take in so much more. So
yeah.
I think that I've really honed, even though I've been doing this for 10 years, I think I've honed my skills in the last 3 or 4 because I'm just a much funnier person. It's a
Yeah.
humble brag.
No, of course. Duh. Yeah, come on. It's true. And I think just like, your voice changes as you get older. It's like
Mhm.
constantly changing. And
Puberty, yeah.
yeah, that too. Hey. And we've just like, as a world, like gone through so much in the past 4 years. And it's just really like, yeah. And with social media, it's created a space for everybody and every
Hmm.
type of comedy and stuff like that's what I love about social media. It's like the space for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. When
Hmm.
did when did you think that you became funny? Like when did you like become comfortable on stage? That was a
Okay.
strange way to phrase it, but
Yeah.
when did you become comfortable on stage?
um well, I did musical theater growing up, starting when I was like 13. So I was
Yeah.
doing like community theater. So I was, and even before that, I was a competitive gymnast, and that in its own way is a performance, for competitions. You're out there performing by yourself. So I feel like I've always been comfortable like on stage. However, when it came to comedy, I don't really think I felt um funny or capable of being funny until like my junior year of college.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in a play in college, and I had this like comedic part. And I remember the first time I got my first laugh on stage, I was like, oh my God. Like it was like, I was like, this is awesome. And so from then, I got into like more of like the writing part and so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't think I got comfortable being funny on stage until much later. Yeah.
That I yeah, it's different for everybody, and
Hmm.
it's better, I think, that you found it as an older person, as an adult, someone over 18, because when you're like say 6, 7, or 8, and you find out you're funny, and then you're chasing that high for the
Yeah.
next 20
Hmm.
years, it gets to be kind of grueling for you, but also it stinks for the people around you because you're like forcing, you're like 13 years old, and you're forcing like your sock puppet jokes
Right.
onto them.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be exhausting. I can't imagine. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't think I was funny when I was young, because who knows what that would have looked like.
What kind of plays did you perform in? Were did you musicals, and what are your favorite plays that you enjoy watching?
I love musicals. Like I'm
Okay, me
such,
too.
theater geek. Yeah, Broadway, like I love all of that. I just recently saw Book of Mormon on Broadway, and that was like
Cool.
one of the best days ever. It was so funny, and just yeah, I love live performance, and musicals definitely probably is my favorite to go see. But live performance in general is just so fun. Like traditional, straight plays,
Yeah.
stand up, improv, like I love it all. Yeah.
I find I enjoy musicals more so than anything.
Yeah.
And I saw last year a company do In the Heights. I've
Mm.
seen the Mean Girls musical. And how do you feel about people using their phones during these things? And also I also want to know about your feelings on people eating during a Broadway play.
Eating.
Yeah.
They do eat, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, that's so interesting. I mean, like I sort of understand like a drink or like a cocktail or something. I know, right? That's a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But eating is, I don't know. There's something really, I believe, maybe this is old school, but like sacred about a live performance and like the respect factor of these are live actors, performing their hearts out, and they worked so
Mhm.
hard. So I think, yeah, I'm not a fan of like phones or anything. It's live performance. It's,
Yeah,
it's defeating the purpose of it being special, one time only. I think it takes
exactly.
the magic away from it a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty old school. I think just don't do anything for that time. But yeah,
I'm so
drinking.
glad. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw Chicago last year, here in Atlanta, at our
Mm,
Fox Theater. And this theater, it's an older theater, and I like to, when I see a play or something, I like to get dressed up. I like to put
mhm.
on, at least a pair of pants. Come on,
Yeah,
like,
at the very least, yeah.
yeah, like some chinos. Let me throw on some
Yeah.
chinos and a
Yeah.
shirt, and I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna have a nice time.
Hmm.
And so I was at Chicago, and there were these two women behind us, and this guy was on stage, and he's a handsome guy, sure, why not? But they kept talking about him and like
Ugh.
whispering the entire show, and then to a point where I and the person I was with, we complained to an usher, and then they moved us up to the pit, luckily enough.
Oh,
But
amazing.
I don't want to end up, like in a place where Lauren Boebert is talking over Beetlejuice and
Right, right.
and vaping and stuff like that. That's gross
Yeah.
and disgusting.
It totally, and it's in a way like a form of heckling almost,
Hmm.
It's just I don't know. I think it's really disrespectful.
Right.
Yeah. Even in movie theaters, I feel like people have more like etiquette. I mean, some,
Yeah.
are expected to. Um, so yeah, I'm not a fan.
Now, tell me about Pillow Talk. It's
Mm,
is your chat show where
mhm.
where you're laying with people in bed.
Yeah. Yeah, yep, that's it.
Hey,
Yeah.
look at that. There we go.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, it's a talk show, chat style show, where we lay in bed together and talk about things that you probably normally wouldn't talk about in a more traditional interview style.
Hmm.
So a lot of it was my videos and online personality isn't me. It's a lot of different characters. I don't really show my own personality, and I just kind of wanted to. And a lot of the guests that I have on the show are also social media personalities or comedians. And I
Hmm.
just thought it would be a cool opportunity to show a different side of us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I love laying in bed and I love oversharing. They're like my two favorite things. So it's kind of just it's based off of that.
Now, why don't you feel I don't want to use comfortable, but why don't you feel like it's necessary for, or you have the ability to share yourself, who you are and your videos? I know that, again, you said you only have 30 to 60 seconds to do something funny, but
Mm.
I still think you have room to really show sides of who you are.
Yeah, thank you. I think it really is just like based in fear. Like I think I'm
Mhm.
just scared. Whereas if I'm posting a character online and it bombs or if people don't like it, then I can be like, okay, so true. Like that's not me.
Mhm.
Like that's a character. I don't like her either. But if I'm posting myself and it gets, hate comments or bad, I think I would just take it a little too personally. I think it's just like this fear thing where I'm like, well, that's me and my story. And that's what's scary
Yeah.
about stand up too. It's like my stories. And so it took me a really long time to get into that as well. So I think it really is just like myself getting in my own way. I think I'm just too
Mhm.
scared. It's scary.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. And I think that comes, we're both young people. I'm a little bit older than you, but I think that comes with time. And I mean, you're already breaking through so many barriers by going on a stage and telling jokes, and then
Thank you.
also posting yourself and online and doing
Hmm.
these things, because how many people can't do that because they're frozen with fear. And
Mm.
you just have to continue pushing past this idea that you're afraid. And because I mean, I think in a couple of years you're going to be able to do it. And
Hmm.
this is me. And I took 6 dumps today. Don't know why I
Right.
said that one, but but that's the thing. It's
Totally. Yeah.
you're going to be able to say that things along those lines.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of this Pillow Talk. It reminds me a lot of late night hosts, wherein that when let's take Seth Meyers for instance, when he's doing a joke, performing a joke, I don't know, whatever, when he's when he's doing an
Yeah.
aside on a closer look, or the any other thing on his show,
Mhm.
and he says, my nephew, took $70 from my wallet. A nephew didn't really take $70 from his wallet. He's just doing a little a
In a
bit.
bit.
So
Mhm.
you get that, and it's just going to take a little bit more time, and eventually this is all going to be a thing of the past to you, and you're going to be
Yeah.
doing pillow talk style things alongside your TikTok posts, and you're going to be essentially one person, as much as you want to show people those different sides of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. And I think Pillow Talk definitely has helped break the ice of that, like
Mhm.
broken the ice with it. And I mean, stand up as well is also helping me feel more comfortable in my voice and in Paige's voice, not necessarily like Paige as a performer
Yeah.
voice. So yeah, I definitely feel it. And it's a really awesome and like freeing feeling to be able to feel confident in your own voice, especially online. I think that is it's really exciting. Yeah. So hopefully it just, I keep getting more and more comfortable with it as time goes on.
That's good.
Mhm.
What's your Spotify Wrapped look like?
This is so embarrassing, but I'm not. Okay, so I just started using Spotify
Okay.
like a few, maybe like 6 months ago, because I was always an Apple Music girly because it
Hmm.
was just easy for me. For some reasons, like the Spotify layout at first was like really confusing. I don't know, maybe it was just like the stubbornness in me. So my Spotify Wrapped is like basically the past, couple months of just me listening to the same 5 songs over and over again. But so I'm like, I don't like these artists are cool, but I don't know. So my Apple Music Wrapped or
Yeah,
whatever that
that
is,
counts. Yeah, that
I
counts.
just looked at it. I can't remember. I think my top one was Frank Ocean,
Okay.
and then um I think it was like Dua Lipa and Tame Impala and this band. They're called The Main. It's like this alternative rock band. So I'm kind of like
Okay.
all over the place a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
dig it. I dig it.
Yeah. What about you? What was your top?
Well, I am like you. I was not loyal to one thing this year.
Okay.
I have Sirius XM. That's not the main one. I use YouTube
Uh-huh.
Music, but I also got a trial of Apple Music this year as well. So
Hmm.
they didn't have enough data on me for that one. So it
Fair
literally
enough.
said we only have 30% of your data. I was like, all right, fine. But
Yeah.
for YouTube Music, it was top one Taylor Swift, Pearl Jam, The Weeknd, and oh god, I forgot who the last two were, but yeah, I
Oh,
mostly it's a lot of classic rock, hip hop, and my sweet girl Tay Tay. I
sweet, sweet
love her so
Tay.
much. Yeah,
That's amazing. That's like all over the place too. I think she was in my top, if not my top 5, top 10 for sure. Yeah. Or
yeah.
do you consider yourself a Swiftie?
I don't like using that term. I hate using
I
that
get it.
term because
Yeah, I get it.
I don't want to be considered one of the people that are like sending threatening notes to people if they don't like Taylor Swift. But
Yeah.
I love her so much. I saw
Mhm.
her in Nashville this year. I saw her in San Jose during the last tour. So yeah, I'm all in on Taylor.
That's amazing. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, how could you not? America's sweetheart.
She's one of the best, like she's one of the best songwriters, one of the best singers,
Hmm.
and people don't understand. They say stupid things like, "Oh, she only writes about boys and everything." She's not. First, she does not do that. Second,
First of all, no.
yeah, and there's other. I can name 40 other artists from the past 50 years who literally have done the same thing more so than her.
Yeah. 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 What is that? Why does she get so much hate for that? It's such a bummer and also just not true.
Yeah,
Like you were saying, yeah. Oh,
she's just
sweet Tay.
successful. It's
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Yeah, she's just successful, so people have to find a reason to not like it. Yeah.
exactly. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous. Well, Paige, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm glad that we had this chance to talk. You're doing great work. I
Thank
also
you.
like supporting women of color. It's
Hmm.
fantastic to have you out there kicking ass on TikTok and
Hey.
reposting those things on Instagram. I know how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. You're not wrong in that. Yeah.
But thank you for sitting down with me again.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're amazing. Keep up the good work, and I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to see where you go. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of influence and everything, but
Mhm.
man, you're so damn funny. Like you're good at what you do. You're
Thank you.
good.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Take that to heart. I don't say that to
I will.
everybody. I don't
Thank you.
explicitly come out and compliment people. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This has been so fun. It's so
yeah.
good to meet you, like face to face.
Yeah, meet you. It's good to meet you as well. You have a
Yeah,
good rest of your day and a
you as well.
fantastic weekend.
Okay, thank you.
All
You
right.
too.
Bye.
Bye.